Hello, it's great to have your company in the coming 7 minutes. But first up, a little bit inventory. Alex from Advanced Solar Technologies just showing off one of the 190 watt panels. And that's actually hard. It's a Delta inverter that can produce up to 3.3 kilowatt 240 volt AC power. 3 business involved: Alex, who sold the system, an electrical contractor, and of course the electronic guy with the money in the pocket. And a part of bookkeeping is not really calling around, it's actually making a snapshot of all the serial numbers on the back of the panels. And of course Alex is using an iPhone for that. Eight panels to the front and 8 panels to the back. The front, that's the east side, and this house has no northern side because it's part of a duplex. And as you see, the rails are already in place, and the electrician right now getting on with getting the cables pulled in. The high voltage cables for the DC powering, and of course the AC power cable from the inverter to the switchboard. The 8 panels are ready. One guy will do more work on the switchboard, prepare the wiring, and in that time the others are putting the panels in place. 8 on this side to catch the early morning sun. That's the advantage of east and west in comparison to the northern. I know in Europe you would have to use the southern side of the house to catch more of the sun. But still, east and west seems to be quite well working. And Alex points here now that panels have to be more to the right hand side because a large palm would cause too much shade onto the panels. In that way they are a bit more exposed to the sun. That means more power is coming in. Right now they are now interconnecting the panels one by one. So 8 panels are then wired up in series. Here all 8 panels on the east side done, finished, wired up and installed. On the west side it looks a bit different. As you see, the roof is already cluttered with pipes and drainage and air ducts and what else. So we made the decision to split apart and have 2 rows at 4 panels each. And in a similar fashion, getting the rails fitted with help of support brackets. And what's the advantage of a tile roof? It's much easier to fit the rails because you just lift off the tiles, go underneath and fit the brackets to the rafter. And as you see it here in a detail snapshot how it's done. At the end you just put the tile back in place and that's it. On a steel roof you would have actually serious problem, and thus steel roof installation is quite a bit more expensive. Here as well the second set of 8 panels goes in place, and if you watch carefully you see the 2 wires hanging down on each panels, one with positive, one with a negative plug to make the serial connection. Then 8 times 40 volt gives you the 320 volt each side can produce. Then the 2 groups are then on the other hand wired up in parallel. So instead having 320 volt 5 amp, we get 320 volt 10 amps available as a maximum power at full sun. And as you see with special hardware, The whole thing gets now assembled, screwed onto the rafters, and it seems to be very storm-proof, as it's guaranteed to hold winds up to 100 or 120 kilometers an hour. So if the screwing work is done well, the installation should actually work as well. As more panels are on the roof, of course, as more of the roof is covered. And the positive side is, aside of producing electricity, you have actually a shaded roof, means less heat inside the roof. And that means as well less heat pushing down into the lounge room. That means in the summer you have a much cooler house. The switchboard, of course, an old one, 1975 the house was built, and still on that time they used this blackboard system. One board already off, the right hand side, where the wiring goes into it. And also the safety switch gets fitted to it. Here the electrician doing now actually the interconnect, the loop from the 240 volt output from the inverter through the switch into the mains grid. Also not directly, it goes just inside of the house. That means as long as the mains is there, you can take power directly off. Here you have seen the previous state, and now with the new switch fitted. Not much change in the switchboard. You could say the heart that gets now installed, the inverter, quite a heavy box, approximately 18 kilo. He had to lift up, so needs decent bolting. Underneath a few switches, first of all to shut off the solar panels if something is going wrong, and also to disconnect the interconnect from the inverter over to the switchboard. Now it's getting time to verify the installation, measuring if actually the solar panels are delivering a decent voltage. That means the loop through from panel to panel is actually correctly plugged. And last but not least is selecting the settings for Australia and get the inverter going. Yeah. That's it. 1 day's work done in 7 minutes on a movie. Once more, the heavy duty worker.